me candy.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Monday Movie Night. I am your host, Damian Nova, and today we are looking at the 1973 blaxploitation horror film Blackenstein. I have deep problems with this movie. Not because it's bad, because it is bad, but I'm not sure what it thinks it is. Sometimes it feels like a comedy. Sometimes it plays it really straight. Most of the time, it plays it super straight. People online, they're talking about, oh, it's a comedy. Where? It's funny, but I don't think it intended to be funny. I mean, it's gory, it's violent. It tries its hand at these dark gothic themes. It tries its hand with this dark gothy music, this sort of 50s horror film music. However, it is quite possibly one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I laughed more at this than I have ever laughed at most comedies. Like, it is hilariously bad. It is right there at that so bad it's good. It's kind of subjective. Some stuff like The Room and Birdemic and stuff like that is so bad it's good because it is so bad it's good. It leans into it. This is almost good. All the elements are there, but it never quite gets there. So anyway, this movie was directed by a guy named William Levy. I think the story of the writer / producer of this film, who was also an attorney, and they usually are attorneys, especially from this era. It takes like attorneys or businessmen that really invested in these movies. But this particular attorney, Frank Salatri, wrote the film. He can't write. We'll get to that later. But he wrote the film. This is the only film he wrote because he was murdered. The dude was unalived, execution style. Somebody did not like this man, and it is still unsolved to this day. That is more interesting than what was actually going on in the film. And I think because of that, this film has sort of built a cult following because of his murder. And I said William Levy didn't direct anything else. He directed some other stuff, but it really wasn't anything of note. He directed this random Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, what's the name of Monaco Fever, and then he directed something called Hellgate and Committed, but that was all like late 80s, early 90s. I think he's dead now. I'm not sure. This also stars John Hart. John Hart is a B-movie actor from the 50s, 60s, and 70s that did little of nothing of note other than the Lone Ranger. He was a replacement for the original actor for the Lone Ranger, I think, and he was on like 60 episodes or something. So yeah, he was well known in the B actor circuit at the time. So that's what blaxploitation films tended to do. They tended to grab some B actor from TV or some actor from the 40s or 50s that was no longer acting and needed work. And they grabbed them for super cheap and they threw them in these blaxploitation films. And it stars a woman by the name of Ivory Stone. Ivory Stone sounds like a porn name. I did not search if she has any porn or any 70s or 80s porn, but sure it sounds like she should, because this is her own movie. This is her only movie. So, you know, maybe she did porn, because that's a porn name. This also stars Joe Dussu as the monster. Again, I'm not sure that this dude is an actor. He was never in anything else before or after this. So I'm not sure if this dude is an actual actor. This movie is so random, and it's random in so many ways. The writer producer was shot execution style. The director directed random shit and then died in the 90s. The main actress was in nothing else. Like, it's so random, and the way the scenes are made, it makes it even feel more random. So at the beginning of my version of this film, there is a disclaimer. There are two versions. There's a sort of a director's cut and a theatrical version. The director's cut, it has this disclaimer at the beginning about, the scenes that we found weren't the same quality, so you're gonna notice a drastic difference, but it added to the film. And to be quite frank, it did add, because when I think about the scenes that those particular, editions were in, they wouldn't have made sense without. I don't know how people sat through this without those scenes. So plot A is about Dr. Walker, the Ivory Stone character, and she's looking, I don't know, okay, so her fiance, which in the film she says fiance, and I don't know if that was a line flub or if that's how people said fiance back in the 70s, but she says fiance. It's hilarious.
My fiance was wounded in Vietnam, and the doctors there wrote and told me he was being transferred to the Veterans Hospital here.
Her fiance was in the Vietnam War, and he stepped on a mine, and his arms and legs were blown off. He was blown to smithereens. He was blown to literal pieces. I don't know how the rest of them didn't get damaged, but just his arms and legs gone. They're escorting his body, the rest of him, back to whatever city this is, USA, and it just so happens that the doctor she's familiar, or she knows, Dr. Stein, is a mad scientist of sorts, but he's also kind of a good guy, whereas in like the old Frankenstein movies, he's always sort of the villain. Like he's a grave robber, and he's doing all this stuff that's against science and nature, and this guy seems like he actually wants to help people. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be the villain or not, and I guess we find out later. I don't know. She goes to this doctor. She tells him, "Hey, my fiance needs your help." With what, I'm not sure. I if there was a whole, scene about his ability to graft parts onto other people, you know what I mean? Like if there was a whole scene about him telling her, sort of like the same scene in The Brain That Wouldn't Die, where he's explaining, at the beginning, first 5 minutes of the movie, he explains to a colleague of his and his wife, how he has discovered how to graft human parts onto, to transplant human parts body to body and all this. There's a whole scene about it.
He thinks it's you who's been stealing those limbs from the amputee operations.
So what if it is? I've got to have limbs for my transplant experiments. Test an experiment.
Yes, but limbs and organs taken from people.
I've got to have them to work with.
In this movie, he doesn't really do that. He has patients living in his mansion who he's experimenting on. One woman is older and she's like in her 90s, but he's making her young again. And then there's another guy who has lost both of his legs, and he's grafted these new legs onto this body, and one of the legs looks like a tiger leg. Now, I will talk about something that bothered me. I mean, this whole movie bothers me. But I want to talk about something that really fucking bothers me. Okay? Blackenstein, the title. Let's dissect that, shall we? Okay. So to get the butts in the seats, I could see them saying, "Hey, we have Blackula, so now we have to have Blackenstein." And I think those movies came out pretty close. So, they didn't say the Blummy, they didn't make the Black Mummy, but Blackenstein rings. It has a ring to it. You go see Blackenstein because it's called Blackenstein. But then the title sequence comes up and it says Blackenstein, the Black Frankenstein. Now I got a problem. If it was just Blackenstein and we were just supposed to suspend disbelief, fine. But one thing these 60s and 70s movies did was they would attach a title to something and it didn't really add up to what was going on in the film. Here's my math problem. A Black Frankenstein it could mean two things. It could mean they meant to say the Black Frankenstein's monster, because the original was the Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein wasn't the monster. It was Frankenstein's monster. So if they meant to say the Black Frankenstein's monster, then what do they mean here? Do they mean that it's a black Dr. Frankenstein who created a new monster? Or do they mean that it's now this is somebody who has never seen, this is somebody walking in, and I've never seen this movie, and you put up the Black Frankenstein. What? If it's the Black Frankenstein's monster, then we're talking about the black monster that Frankenstein made. But the guy in this movie is not Frankenstein. And I get that they can't use it in the movie, but you used it for your title sequence. So why trust your audience to suspend disbelief that Blackenstein is just about the Frankenstein story? It's another Frankenstein story where we can suspend disbelief and say, you know what? Got it. I don't need this to explain that it's the Black Frankenstein. Don't explain that, because now you're presenting me with questions. Do I believe that this is the Black Frankenstein? Or do I believe that this is the Black Frankenstein's monster? Do I believe that the monster is black? Do I believe that Frankenstein is black? You don't confuse us. We got it. Blackenstein. Got it. So the movie starts off at, I know it's taking me forever to get to the start of the movie, but the movie starts off with the woman, the doctor coming to Anywhere USA to ask Dr. Stein to help her with her fiance. And the opening sequence is odd. Usually in these types of movies, Blackula didn't really do this, but usually in these types of movies, there's sort of an upbeat title song sequence, like Coffee.
Coffee is the color of your skin. Help it smooth. You are the one.
Guy from Holland. That cat's a bad dude.
But at the beginning of this, there's this really somber blues song.
Have I been wrong? Friends I have none, and trouble so long, and adding to the misery, I can't find no one.
Just about nothing. It's really just about, it's a Baby Why'd You Leave Me blues song. And I don't know that it makes any sense. To be fair, this whole movie is kind of like that. The music never seems to match the scenes. The music is just random. It sounds like they snatched a lot of this music from 50s and 60s sci-fi films and just sort of threw it in here. The music is actually very reminiscent of The Brain That Wouldn't Die. This is more The Brain That Wouldn't Die instead of Frankenstein. So the music really doesn't work in a lot of ways. It's supposed to create this atmosphere, but the atmosphere isn't there. It's too brightly lit during the day, and at night it's mostly sci-fi colors, like these sort of vibrant greens and purples and blues, and it doesn't make much sense musically and visually. Now, one thing I'm going to say, I know why Miss Ivory Stone wasn't in anything else. Miss Thing cannot act. She is quite possibly the worst actor in this film, next to the guy that plays the monster, because he's fucking terrible too. Although he does do a good Frankenstein walk. He does have a good walk going on, but he can't act. She can't act. The only person that can act in this is John Hart, and John Hart is slumming it. Like he is barely pulling his weight in this film. So she asks the doctor, hey, please, can you come check out my fiance in the hospital, at this veterans hospital, and see what you can do for him. He doesn't have arms or legs, But let's see, just see what you can do for him. Maybe give him new arms and legs. That's the movie. That's the movie. What's funny is that we see this guy in the hospital and we only see him from here up. And he has, you know, his arms are sort of probably in like the thing where it's like his arms are back here, but they're like inside like the mattress or something, which is probably wildly uncomfortable. And he has to stay perfectly still, or else they'll show his arms will show. And there's an orderly nurse that this mean, you know, evil orderly / nurse that's coming in, I guess, to do his rounds or something like that. And he asked for something to drink. And he asked for some ice cream because his mouth is dry. This orderly / nurse then proceeds to have a 2-minute monologue about how he was in the war, how he would try to join the military because he was so fit and in shape, and they wouldn't accept him because he had a bad heart, and he wanted to go over there and help fight the war, but he ended up going, and he was jealous of this black man's because he's laid up with no arms and legs, and like, look at me, look at you, you look like a creep sitting there with your no arms and no legs. What? 2 minutes monologue. They really let this man go the fuck off. And in my version, the extra scenes are in there, and it does equal out to about 2.5 minutes of monologue from this orderly who just hates this black man because he doesn't have arms and legs, and I guess he wishes he had arms and legs. Like, what is it? Dr. Stein goes in and promises the guy Eddie, who's quadriplegic. I don't know. Is this quadriplegic? Is this just me? It just means both legs, right? I don't know. So Dr. Stein goes in, tells limbless Eddie that he can help him, but I'm gonna promise you that there are no promises, basically. And then suddenly Eddie is carted back to his house. I don't understand how any of the politics in this works, where you can just grab a patient out of a hospital, out of a veterans hospital. Well, I guess it's veterans. I guess they don't give a shit. But you can grab a patient out, throw him in some facility. We don't know any kind of relationship this doctor has with these hospitals. So it's like, just whatever, right? One thing I did want to breeze by was sort of the set for Dr. Stein's laboratory. The laboratory looks like Bill Nye the Science Guy threw up all over Power Rangers, and it's just nonsense. It's just beakers and electrodes, and it's just shit. It's just stuff everywhere. None of it looks like anything matters. None of it looks like any of it works. It all looks like decoration. Then you see all these things in the back, just electricity and just things. Nothing makes any sense. It's kind of jarring when you watch the movie, because it's like suddenly he has patients, like suddenly he has other people he's taking care of, and you meet Bruno with the tiger leg, and you meet the old lady, but it's like that. It's a lot of like, oh, okay, now this is happening. None of it flows together. All of this, everything seems like it happens in one night. They graft the arms, then they graft the legs. Then they let him rest. I mean, it's over. It's over. That's it. There's no, oh, this failed. Oh, we got to try this now. Or his body is rejecting the arms. There's none of that. There's none of that. It's just, okay, you got arms now. Okay, you got legs now. There's never a moment where Malcolm, and we'll get to him, but Malcolm's the assistant. There's never a moment where Malcolm the assistant goes and finds these arms and legs from a grave, or robs them from a hospital, or there's a whole scene where the doctor is making arrangements with somebody who's dying to donate the limbs. There's never a moment like that. So we don't know where these arms and legs came from. They just whiz by it. I think there's like a sentence where she says, oh, well, good thing that they fit him, and his His blood work matched, and it has the whole serum thing, sort of like the brain that wouldn't die, this miracle serum that will graft it onto his body, and we'll get to the serum again. But there's this magical serum that they keep injecting him with that's integrating his limbs with his body, and it's just nonsense. And it would be funnier if they really leaned into it, but they don't. They don't. Everybody plays it really straight, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, am I supposed to take this seriously, or is this a comedy? Then suddenly, Malcolm, who has been fine the whole time, black guy, he's been fine the whole movie. Now suddenly he's fallen in love with Dr. Walker. He's suddenly smitten with her, and it's like, what? Up to this point, we have no reason to believe. Everything happens so fast and so efficiently that we have no reason to believe that he's not going to walk out of there with his new arms and new legs fully intact and be 100% fine. His other patients look fine other than the guy with the tiger leg. He has a couple, after a couple effects, but nothing that says that Bruno is so aggressive that he's be locked up and he's all warped and messed up from his serums, that he was a failure, or that Malcolm went through it and he's a failure, or any of that. We never get any idea that Dr. Stein has failed at what he's trying to do.
And you really believe you can work a transplant on her successfully? Yes. Like my arm. Withered and deformed. Yours was an early experiment that failed.
So why wouldn't Eddie just be able to get up and walk out? He might have complications later, but he'll have his arms and legs, right? That's just what it feels like. So Malcolm is the catalyst for him becoming the monster, because he's in love with her and she rejects him. So he poisons or somehow augments the serum for Eddie with Bruno's DNA. Listen, I didn't make this movie. Oh, and she's in the movie, by the way. She's only in it for like a minute, but she's in it. She's in it. She has no name. She is victim number 12. And we'll get to the body count, because what? He has his metamorphosis. He's laid up. They have him in sort of this separate facility area that looks like a dungeon suddenly, and but the room is in the same room as the science lab. He breaks out and he starts terrorizing the town. Now this is the movie. He breaks out. He literally terrorizes the town. This is 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s logic. Monster breaks out, kills random people. That's the idea. There's no agency. The only time that he kills somebody where it actually makes any sense is when he goes back and kills the orderly / nurse. If he had his arms and legs and he just walked out, was his first mission to go kill this guy? Like, I could see like going to get him fired or something, but was his first mission going to kill this guy? Because that's not good either. Because after that, he just goes to kill a random couple in a house, kills a dog, kills 2 people having sex, and almost having sex, and then goes back to the house and just lies down. He just lies down. He's just back at the house. There's no indication that he went back to the house, but he's back at the house, and they're still treating him with the serums. I can't make it up. Why did it take 45 minutes? 45 minutes in this an hour and a half movie until we actually see a monster killing stuff. The original Frankenstein is very short. It's short because it's a short story. It's not a long story. We don't need for you to drag this out, okay? An hour and a half for a Frankenstein movie is wild. But I'm gonna tell you something. The one thing they had to add was a music scene, because blaxploitation films were nothing if they did not have a band scene. How would we know that there's black music in it if we don't have a black band and a comedian, a Dolomite style comedian up there making jokes and doing music? How will we know this is a blaxploitation? We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know. And my other question is, why doesn't the doctor know that his serum is fucked? He keeps giving the serum to this guy and he's not seeing any changes. Seems like he would try to change up the serum and maybe investigate, well, maybe something's going on. My serum, maybe it's spoiled. Maybe something dropped in it. Let me see what's going on with my serum. Not one time does this doctor do this. And this is why he deserves to die. But I guess that's, that's supposed to be the hubris of the doctor. Well, no, this has worked before. I don't know why it's not working now. Well, maybe you should change up. Maybe we need to reevaluate Eddie's DNA. But they never do that. It never happens. They just keep giving him the serum. If they made it comedic, where wow, that's not working. Well, let's try it another 20 times. Something, but they never lean into that joke. Why does the monster have on shiny boots? Patent leather, shiny boot. Or maybe they might not be patent leather. Shoes were a lot shiny. Leather was a lot shinier back then. So maybe they're just, but why does he have on boots? Where did he get these clothes? When did they dress him? Then he kills a woman getting away from a guy that was trying to rape her. Then he kills, all between this, nothing is happening. Nothing. They just keep giving him the serum. Just making it worse. And if he was morphing further, like if he had a tentacle coming out of his neck, or just something started to happen to him, like physically, like the guy with the tiger leg or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like if something else was happening to his body, I could see them, they keep giving him the serum and he keeps just morphing and mutating into this monster. But no, he looks the same. They just keep giving him the serum and just makes him more and more aggressive, I guess. Eddie just keeps getting up and going out and kill people and coming back and taking a nap. Getting up, going out and kill people, coming back and taking a nap. Not one time do they notice that this man has gotten up out of this fucking place and gone to kill people. Not one time. The passage of time in this movie makes no sense. One moment it's dusk, the next minute it's night. It is midnight, and then it's morning, and he does it all in the middle of the night while they're sleeping, I guess. And then just killing people and then coming back. So finally, the police show up to their house, rightfully so, and they're like, "Yeah, so there's been a string of murders. You got anything going on? You got anything weird going on here?" And the doctor's like, "No, I'm keeping this 90-year-old woman looking 50, and a guy staying up there has a tiger leg, and another guy lost all of his limbs, so I'm regrafting his." No, but other than that, no, nothing weird. Go look at these things. Go look at the things that he's talking about. You just leave. You just go in. Hey, weird stuff? No, okay. And then we come up on the scene with the band and the club, and he kills this man trying to rape this woman, and he then kills the woman who was almost raped. He kills the woman who was almost raped, and he moves on. He goes back and lays back down. That's his bailiwick. That's his workout. He goes out, kills people, goes back, lay back down. He needs his exercise. He needs a nap. Suddenly, Malcolm, the assistant, because he just can't take it anymore, so he tries to rape Dr. Walker. What am I watching? Randomly, you just see him in the bedroom trying to attack her. Not one moment did you really, yes, he seemed kind of unhinged, but not at one moment did he advance to her in a way that seemed like he was going to try to rape her. Although there are two other men in this movie that try to rape somebody. I don't know. Eddie tries to kill Malcolm, but then Malcolm gets a gun and tries to shoot him, and guns don't work. Bullets don't work. Dogs work, but bullets don't. We'll get to that. So bullets don't work. He kills Malcolm. Then he tries to kill Dr. Walker, and he stops because he's like, oh, you recognize me? Don't do it. Eddie, please. You know, and he snaps to his senses, goes out, and just another random white woman. He goes, grabs her, doesn't kill her, grabs her to take her back to his warehouse hospital. I don't fucking. And then she gets away for a minute, and then there's a 5-minute chase scene between him and this white woman, and he catches up with her, kills her, takes out her intestines, because this movie loves intestines. Takes out her intestines, eats them, I guess, I don't know. Police show up to place and release Dobermans. Now, I don't remember Dobermans being police dogs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because they're not easily trained. So Dobermans being police dogs is odd. Dobermans are like cats. The Dobermans are effective because they're super dogs. They rip them apart. They rip this man apart. Like arm, leg, like these Dobermans are evidently have the serum in them too, because they rip this fucking monster apart. Intestines, arms, face, leg, everything gone. Gone. And then we see the Dr. Walker walking out with the good-looking police officer, because there is a good-looking police officer in this. She's him walking out with this good-looking police officer, and suddenly they're in love. The end. Jesus. It seems like they were making it up and writing it as they were going. I don't fucking know, man. Listen, if you love this movie, knock yourself out. I think it's a great movie to watch with your friends and drunk and high and really have a kiki and laugh. It is one of those movies. It is hilariously bad. Hilariously bad. It's hard to grade a movie like this because I had a good time. I'm trying to figure it out. I really did have a good time, but it's not a good movie. I guess I'd give Blackenstein a C-. I want to give it an F because it's bad like an F, but it's funny like a B movie should be. I don't know. C- is good, right? C-. So anyway, that's today's Monday movie night. My God, what a way to start the new season of Monday Movie Night. Like, comment, subscribe. I will have my Patreon up very, very soon with extended versions of these and with videos that I cannot post on YouTube that YouTube has banned or something. So I'm trying to build that list up so that you have something to go see when you go to my Patreon. So yeah, I will catch you next week. Peace.
Candy.